Welcome to the Get Trauma-Informed podcast, dedicated to unraveling the complexities of trauma, its pervasive impact, and the journey towards holistic recovery and realignment. If your radiance has ever felt muted, like I and thousands of others, you're in the right place to reignite your inner light. I'm your host, Wellness Coach Liz Blanding, and this is the Get Trauma-Informed podcast. Well, hello, and welcome to another episode of the Get Trauma-Informed podcast, where we have been traveling for 8 parts, 8 weeks through our mini trauma recovery talks. We've been dissecting trauma-informed leadership and creating a foundation of what this all means, right? So we're going to get into week number 8, or part number 8. We're going to talk about resources for trauma recovery and emotional well-being. Okay, there are some free and low-cost supportive tools that's available. Oasis Wellness, CTRS. If you go there, there's a plethora of resources that are available to help you support your trauma recovery journey and also mastering trauma-informed leadership, right? Peer networking groups and recovery communities. Again, our community does provide a source of weekly support in the form of multiple offerings that we have on our site, oasiswellnessctrs.com. And it's not a one size fit all. So that means that you grab what it is that you need in that moment, from the PDFs to the community resources to the different programs, and just depending on what it is that you're looking to accomplish, right? And then again, we also have the 12-week trauma recovery program. We have that program for individuals that are looking to walk through trauma recovery or even integrate themselves into our program. We take a deep dive into the options, into all of the resources that are available. Then we have, of course, the 9-week program that we're discussing right now that gives us a deep dive into what trauma-informed leadership looks like. Okay, so we're also going to discuss reflective practices for trauma-informed leadership. Okay, and then we're going to end you on, well, actually, we're going to end you with 3 questions. As we've been walking through and we've been journaling this journey, there's 3 questions that I want you to keep in your mind as we conclude this week. What has trauma taught me as a leader? Number 2, what's one limiting belief I'm ready to release? And what's my next courageous step, right? And again, there are plenty of resources at Oasis Wellness, CTRS.com. We invite you to even grab one of the journals that'll help you as well. Okay, so let's get into today's information. Recovery doesn't happen in isolation. It happens in connection, community, and through intentional access to the right resources. Okay. As a trauma-informed leader, it's essential to know where to turn for both your own healing and the support of others. And we like to say recovery over healing. Recovery means that you are recovering everything that has been taken away or stolen from you. That means we're pulling all of our pieces back together. We're no longer walking in or walking on eggshells or walking behind the glass or living life from behind the glass wall or looking through the kaleidoscope where everything is shattered and we're showing up, but not as our 100% of ourselves. So that's what we mean about making sure that we have the proper resources and the support. And the other issue is that oftentimes we don't understand that there are trauma-informed therapists, support groups, online coaching programs. You may even want to tap into somatic practitioners and holistic tools like herbal remedies. In the herbal remedy portion of it, we can use lavender, we can, burn candles. There's certain things that create a peaceful atmosphere to help you to release your shoulders and to release the stress that we keep in our shoulders. Breath work, right? Even phototherapy patches, which I live by, and I don't want to ever have to be without them because they are so amazing. And again, you can find that on our site as well. Recovery is not a one size fits all. Okay, it's layered. And every layer is valid. And that's what we want you to sit in for a minute. Understand that it is valid. Everything that you feel, right? So no shame, no blame, no guilt. We get rid of those Those create those limiting beliefs, right? Or those limitations. A good leader doesn't need to be the healer, right? They just need to know how to connect people to the help they need. Having a resource hub ready, right? That's something that we want to build in our trauma-informed leadership space. Whether it's for yourself, your staff, or your clients, this creates a foundation of safety. But it's not just about the tools, it's also about reflection. Trauma-informed leadership begins and ends with self-awareness. And that's what we've been talking about throughout these weeks, self-awareness. That's why reflective practices are vital. Set time aside weekly to ask yourself, where did I show up with compassion this week? Where did I feel triggered? That's a big one. And what needs my attention? Journaling, quiet prayer, and meditation, post-meeting reflections, and intentional silence can reveal so much about what's under the surface. It's like peeling off the layers of an onion until you get to the true you, right? That's buried inside of all of this pain and this hurt and disappointment. We want to get down to the center, to the core. You remember the song, I love The Wiz, right? Where Diana Ross and Michael Jackson and Nipsey Russell, as they were in the dungeon with the wicked witch, right? And then when they got rid of her, they played this song, Can You Feel a Brighter Day? And that's trauma recovery. Can you feel a brighter day, right? That means they were peeling off that old mask that they had. They was getting rid of all of that, right? And that's what happens. And we understand what's under that surface. The practices help us to respond instead of react. When leaders create space to slow down and reflect, they start leading from within. And that's so important that we lead from within. And that does change everything. Because ultimately, trauma-informed leadership isn't just about what you do. It's about how you show up and who you become in the process. And I tell you, you meet yourself. I met myself on the other side of trauma recovery. And I also want to leave you with this. Trauma recovery, as we just said, is not just a one and done. Trauma recovery is ongoing because we don't want to relapse, right? And to stay in trauma recovery and to show up in this world in our full purpose. That's what trauma recovery looks like. Alrighty, I'm so happy that you took this journey with us. Again, you can go over to oasiswellnessctrs.com and check out some of the other resources that are available. And I look forward to seeing you in the follow-up episodes and in one of our programs. Bye for now. Don't forget to go out there and show up as your full self, your full purposeful self, and help somebody else to do that as well, or support them in that journey. Alrighty, bye for now. It's time to buckle up. No more suffering in silence. Our Power Pack journey to recovery and realignment starts now. Remember, you are collateral damage on someone else's warpath. Trauma is not your fault. Recovery, however, is your responsibility. I'm your host, Wellness Coach Liz Blanding, and this is the Get Trauma Informed podcast.